What's up, Tweener? Welcome back to another Tweener tennis video today here on the channel. And today we have a very special interview with business developer of one of the best tennis apps that you can have, SwingVision. SwingVision is probably one of the most popular apps. SwingVision is like having a coach in your pocket. It analyzes video for you. It has heat maps. It has stats, percentages, everything that you can imagine right in your hand on your iPhone, iPad, or your Apple Watch. Featured in multiple Apple Keynote speeches this past year, it is also now the editor's choice on the App Store and now probably one of the most popular tennis apps that you can use to help your own game. And it's also the official player and ball tracking technology of the LTA, Tennis Australia, and even college tennis, the ITA. This can't get any better. All you have to do is just put it on a mount, put it in the back of your court, preferably in the middle, not to the sides. And all you have to do is hit that record button, and the rest the AI will do for you. Check out the link in the description below for a month free of this service. And I'm telling you now, guys, you will love it and you will stick with it. Trust me, you don't want to miss this opportunity. And if you just want to learn more about the app, feel free to continue watching this video with Nikhil. Now, enjoy the video. Thank you so much for coming on to Tweener Head Tennis today. I really appreciate it. How's it going?
Yeah, thanks, Phil. Appreciate you having me on. Doing well, no complaints. We've been having a good summer here in San Francisco. Just had our first rainstorm of the year, so transitioning into the fall now, but no complaints. Hopefully, still more good outdoor tennis to come.
Trust me, you're probably going to be playing a lot more into this quote unquote winter weather for yourself because I'm playing tennis in 45-degree weather now, so I think you'll be fine. I think you'll survive.
Yeah, we'll take that.
Well, for those of you who don't know, this is Nikhil from SwingVision, and I'm very happy to be working with your company, to be working with this app. It's probably one of my favorite tennis apps to use, not just for my own sake, but to create videos, to produce content. And for those of you that have been following my channel, a lot of the match play footage now is from and downloaded from SwingVision. And that's probably one of my favorite things about it because I've talked to you in the past, and one of the favorite features that you love is not having downtime in between each point, which I think is amazing. It cuts down an hour footage to 20 minutes, which is fantastic. So if you want to, please give a quick background on SwingVision and how it started.
Yeah, for sure. So as far as SwingVision, I guess I'll start quick background on myself. So I lead business development for SwingVision, as Phil mentioned, part of the company. And I'm also a lifelong tennis player. So I'm based here in the Bay Area. Grew up playing in this area, played in college at UC Berkeley for their tennis team. And that's actually where the company kind of started. So our co-founders, Swapnil and Richard, were both recreational tennis players who were roommates at UC Berkeley. And they were amateur players. They'd play with each other often, but didn't have much formal coaching and wanted a way to track their game. So they saw that professional athletes had a wealth of data about their performance, and even amateur athletes in sports like cycling and running could easily track their performance with apps like Strava. So they set out to build something similar for tennis. And so the idea was kind of a Hawkeye for the masses, a Hawkeye in your pocket. But it started out actually by building an Apple Watch app that was used to track stats and measure data like swing speed and shot type. And this was back in 2017. Our team was really small at that point, and we were working part-time with other full-time jobs. And then as smartphone cameras got better and the internal AI hardware got more advanced, particularly in iPhones, Swapnil and Richard realized that real-time video analysis was actually going to be possible with just a single smartphone. And that's when SwingVision was born at the end of 2019 with that kind of Hawkeye in your pocket vision.
I feel like that this has been in the making, not just by yourself and your company, but it's been a concept that has been out there for so long. And I remember growing up, we would have apps that would track, and you would have to manually track. So if I had my parents with me, I'd be like, Dad, can you just take down all these scores? Can you make sure that you get my unforced errors and serving percentage like that? But this is literally your trainer in your pocket to kind of see what you guys are able to do and what your patterns are. And I think it's incredible. And my first question, kind of related to the app, is were you asked to be the model for the app when you look it up on the Apple Store, because that was the first thing I noticed when I was looking at reviews and looking at the app itself, because you guys have been featured on Apple Keynote for the watch, for the phone, for the iPad, and every single time you have popped up as the main image that comes up. So was that your idea, or was that someone else's idea that kind of came into it?
No, that wasn't my idea, and I actually I didn't know how much Apple would end up featuring us.
Okay.
Maybe if I knew, I would have suggested put my photo in. But no, that was Swapnil. We took a lot of just various photos. Worked with Allison, our lead designer, to kind of make them more visually appealing, and I guess a lot of those have been used in some of these Apple features, which have been really great for us to kind of get the name of the app out there, and it's been awesome just having a company like Apple believing in our vision and what we're doing and helping promote us.
Has there been a lot of pressure on you to make the app better every day when you're featured in something so big like Apple? Because it's not every day that you get to talk to someone who's created a app of the day, app of the month, one of the featured ones in a keynote. So what kind of pressure does that come with creating such a revolutionary app?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think there's pressure. We want to make sure that, Apple's promoting us. We're, also providing good experience to all of our users. And a lot of times when they feature us in some of these keynotes, it might be for, future technology that might not currently exist in the app. And then there's always some sort of pressure that we have to get those sort of features out, given that Apple has promoted them. And so I think in general, though, we kind of put the pressure on ourselves in that, we want to kind of create the best user experience possible. We know that, it's a very complicated challenge doing what we're doing with the app. And, there's going to be bugs, issues along the way, challenges that, any kind of company like this are going to face, but just try to manage that as best as possible, continually update the app basically every day. Like you're saying, we try to do a really good job of pushing out frequent software updates. So adding new features, addressing any issues. We take in feature requests from, even our user community. We're pretty active, on Facebook and Instagram. We get a lot of incoming, feature requests and things like that. We try to listen to our community as well and incorporate what they're telling us.
And that Facebook, there's a Facebook group that whoever uses SwingVision, I think it's a really great way for you guys to get feedback. And even though, and I'm not going to say it, but Facebook may be considered a way for a different generation to use and to kind of stay up to date. But when you have constant feedback like that and constant questions every day to people that use the app every day, no matter it's for themselves or for their client or for their student, it really does make a difference, because it really does add that personal touch, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, definitely. And we try to, obviously be engaged and respond to as many users on there as possible. But it's also really great to see some of our, longstanding users or our power users responding back to new user questions. And that, I think, gets us really excited is, when we see our community engaging with each other. And I think that's a really big growth opportunity for us moving forward too, is incorporating more community elements, both within the app and then kind of just on social media as well, growing that out.
Oh, 100%. And two other people that have been known as your investors is a Grand Slam champion, Andy Roddick, and James Blake. Can you talk about a little bit of their involvement in this app? I know you've talked about Andy Roddick's involvement in that story. Can you elaborate on that? Because I feel like a lot of people, maybe more people, don't know about that than I do. So please tell us about that.
Yeah. So, we're super fortunate and lucky to have Andy and James on board. They're awesome, really big believers in what we're doing and supporters of us. They were actually two of our first investors. So they invested before we even had an app for the iPhone. And so the way that we got in contact with them is Swapnil and I had a friend from high school. He ended up playing on the tour, was connected to someone at a nutrition supplement company that had worked really closely with James and that still worked with James. And so we had talked to this nutrition supplement company about some potential cross-promotional opportunities within the app. And he just liked what we were building. He thought that, James would be a good person to talk to. And he actually set up a meeting where Swapnil, our CEO, flew out to San Diego to meet with James, had a really good conversation, after which James decided that he wanted to become an angel investor. and he connected us to Andy. So he flew Swapnil out to Houston when they were playing like an Invesco series, kind of like exhibition tour. And Swapnil got to meet Andy. He got to meet John McEnroe and Jim Courier as well, and pitched to them. And Andy ended up deciding to invest. And yeah, they've been involved for sure since their investment. So being active on like social media, if you have a big announcement, they'll retweet things. They'll help kind of just generate traffic towards big announcements for us. And there's actually going to be an ad coming out that will release on probably online, but it's going to be featuring Andy and James, and I think that's going to be really a fun one for people to see.
100%. I think for you guys, just having two guys that have been number one, well, one's been number one in the world, one's been top 5 in the world.
Yeah,
it's amazing to see that kind of trust within players and seeing how we're using their knowledge to kind of promote the app and grow. And has there been anything that they've mentioned that you've tried to implement in the app, or is there any ideas that they have come up with that you've put into the app as well?
Yeah, it's not so much, I'd say, direct feature advice, but it's more so thinking about, they continuously tell us, like, even though that we would play Grand Slams and we'd have data from Hawkeye and all of our matches, there's so many times that we go out on a practice court and we have no idea, how are we doing compared to the other practices that we had this week. It's all subjective and we don't have a way to capture any of this. So, they're always stressing to us that, there is a place even in professional tennis for a solution like this. And so even though we've kind of always thought about this as like the Hawkeye for the masses, kind of the bottom of the pyramid below the top pros, there's still that application for, players on the ATP and WTA tour that are playing in the Grand Slams to be able to get this sort of data about their practices and be able to incorporate that into their player development process with their coach. So I think that's something that, they've stressed to us a lot. And hopefully that's an opportunity that we can take advantage of in the future.
100%. And for the future kind of ideas that you have for this app, what's the main goal that you guys have, or what's the, I guess, quote unquote, end goal that you have, or where do you want to see this in 5 years? Because you're already partnered with Tennis Australia. You've already partnered with college tennis, the ITA. And now you're kind of becoming this platform that PlaySite wishes it could be. It could be that mobile thing that you can always take with you, that's always in your pocket, and you just become the better version and much better. So what's the end goal for you guys for SwingVision with this?
Yeah. So I think, we want to become, even more of a complete ecosystem within tennis. So obviously from the player development perspective, right, with video review and stats, that's something that we're going to continue to build on. There's more features that we're going to add in there and continue to build that out. We also want to be, big into the officiating space. So line calls, automated scoring. We want to be able to clean up a lot of that in the game and be able to hopefully have, automated line calling available at USTA tournaments across the country and league matches, and scale that across the world as well. And so that's another big goal of working with these federations too, is, we have line calling technology is one of the, kind of our biggest features that we're working on. And so being able to work with these federations to verify the accuracy of the technology, get it approved for competition use, I think is all really positive. And I think these federations really looking forward to that. So yeah, the player development, the officiating piece, and then I think also the community aspect within tennis. So right now we don't do that much as far as, social components, but I think there's a lot more we can do there, whether it's player matching or whether it's, being able to engage, with video content from other players across the world that might be interesting to you more easily. And then also being able to do things like live streaming. So kind of creating a more connected tennis network across the globe. And then there's also things that we want to get into, like real-time technique feedback and coaching. So let's say you're playing, you could even hear technique feedback through your AirPods. So getting even more granular into that, and then potentially even things like smart equipment suggestions. So if we know what types of players are similar, what types of equipment players similar to you are using, can suggest recommendations based on your game style, skill level, things like that. And so trying to create that full ecosystem in tennis. And then if we're able to execute all of that in tennis well, The goal is to expand to other ball and racket sports like paddle, table tennis, pickleball, badminton.
Oh, I love that. And you've talked a little bit about this. I remember on the Tennis Spin channel when you did an interview with him, the live streaming component that you're trying to create and implement into this app, I think is fascinating. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I mean, live streaming, what we want to enable is basically any one of our users to be able to stream, any of their matches or practices live. And so, obviously that's exciting for, players that might be playing a tournament on the weekend. Their coach is not going to be able to physically travel with them every single time to these matches, but a coach can then tune in potentially live and see it, or, friends and family that aren't able to go to these tournaments as well. So basically being able to open up and broadcast your tennis to a lot more people that are be interested in seeing it. In the college space, that's a big thing that I think PlaySite's actually done quite well in, is getting into the streaming space. And a lot of college teams are looking at how can we broadcast more matches and get more matches in front of more of our fans. And so I think streaming has a really big application there too. But of course, the nice thing here is that we want to be able to do this all just using an iPhone or an iPad. So you don't need to have dedicated cameras installed on the court. You'd be able to just stream it through your device. And then with the stream too, we want to be able to make it dynamic, incorporate, several of the stats that we show in the app, real-time scoreboards, and make it kind of like a customizable viewing experience, potentially even be able to engage with other people on the stream, making it more of that community feel. So I think what we've all noticed is that, it's really hard to watch tennis kind of outside of the Grand Slams. And hopefully this is kind of a way that, at least within the app, we can broadcast a lot more tennis to people around the world. And there's still a lot of high quality tennis going out there that, people don't actually get to see. So hopefully we can help bridge that gap.
100%. And do you think with this streaming, as someone that does a lot of its work on YouTube, do you think we'll be able to stream just through the app, or do you think you could integrate it through YouTube or Twitch or any other live platform that people can broadcast to?
Yeah, I think that would definitely be part of our roadmap too. So, we might phase it out, might start within the app, but we'd want to be able to have, third-party app integration, be able to broadcast it on our website as well. So it doesn't have to be just confined within the app. So yeah, definitely some things that we'll be thinking about.
Awesome. Well, thank you again, Nikhil, for joining me today. This was a lot of fun. If you guys want to check out the pro version, please use the link down in the description below to check it out. It's a lot of fun to use, and it really does help you analyze your game. So I really appreciate for Nikhil being here and for just talking to us about the app, so that way you get a face behind the app as well to kind of understand what's going on and to put some personality on it as well. So because it's not every day that we get to talk to someone who's developed such a phenomenal app every day. So thank you again for joining us today, and I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Phil. Really appreciate you having me on as well. This was fun. I'm happy to obviously come on anytime.
Thank you again, and I'll see you soon.
Yep, sounds good. See ya.